Oh, hell yeah. Man, you want to talk about a juggernaut? From a budget that was practically non-existent, a group of 3 colleagues created probably one of the most influential TV programs in the 21st century. And don't even get me started on the shows. There were so many shows throughout Adult Swim's history. You had cartoons, you had live action shows, you had anime, you had claymation, and they were all weird as shit. You can largely thank Adult Swim for Family Guy and Futurama having the runs that they did. Both shows were canceled pretty early on Fox. Adult Swim ran reruns of both shows. They became super popular, and they were ultimately uncanceled. It really would not have been a cultural phenomenon if it really wasn't for Adult Swim. It's funny how Adult Swim became so popular considering that it had zero marketing at all. On September 2nd of 2001 at 10 p.m., it just showed up out of nowhere on TV.
Attention swimmers, we've got some new shows coming. That's right, new shows. But there's no kids under 17 allowed. So that's new too. Adult Swim premieres next on Cartoon Network.
With the very first TV show on there being Home Movies, which by the way I loved, Adult Swim had a knack for giving a chance to shows that no other channel would allow. And because the shows were usually so cheap, they didn't really have to play it safe. The philosophy at Adult Swim was, if it wasn't illegal to put on TV, we'll give it a shot. It's like the Wild West version of TV. If you had an idea and a tape of a pilot episode of your new show, Adult Swim would play it live on TV at 2 in the morning. Name any other TV station that had the balls to do that. But one of the biggest hitters on Adult Swim had to be Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Everybody knew this show. Okay, my grandma knew this show. And it's amazing how little of a budget it had. For comparison, an episode of The Simpsons would run over $1 million on average. Guess how much an episode of Aqua Teen cost? Try $60,000. And that was in the high end. That's almost a 1/20th fraction of what an episode of The Simpsons was. And everyone who worked there were just jokesters, in the coolest way. Here's a personal story, and I'm all riled up because to this day, this still pisses me off. So Adult Swim is known for doing April Fool's pranks I think it's every year. But don't get me started on the 2007 April Fool's prank, because this was awesome, but it was infuriating. So the Aqua Teen movie was set to come out in a couple weeks, and Adult Swim was promoting it like crazy. But they also heavily promoted that they would play it on TV like 2 weeks before it would come out in theaters. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I was so excited. I was a huge fan of Aqua Teen. I stayed up on a school night for this. It was supposed to start at 10 p.m. They start to play the intro for about 2 minutes, and then this bullshit happens.
And that was the problem, wasn't it?
Hello?
President Nixon here. I'm hiring you losers to deliver the ice. And hurry up.
I couldn't tell you how pissed off I was. They played the whole movie in the little corner. It was genius though, because for weeks they planned this. Damn it, they got me good with that one. I felt like such an idiot. Looking back now, it's hilarious. I mean, what else would you expect? It's Adult Swim. Man, so many memories of Adult Swim though. Tim and Eric, I would say, probably created that cringe type of humor. And that show was kind of messed up, in the grossest ways.
Now you can stand up and poop like a man. No more standing in long lines to wait to take a poop. Did you ever have to...
And does anybody remember Moral Oral?
Great idea. I'll smoke the crack. Hallelujah.
See, now that one's unique. And I love that show, but I actually didn't know this until I was researching. It started as a parody of religious shows, but after a couple of seasons, it got so dark that Adult Swim actually canceled it for being too depressing. You know it must be bad if Adult Swim cancels it. It's been such a long time since I've watched Adult Swim, and honestly, I do miss it sometimes. I mean, there's just so much weirdness to it, and I loved it. I loved how it had like this underground casual feel to it, and just how outrageous some of the shows were. There was a show called Assy McGee about a detective who was an ass. He was a literal ass. And it is cool that you could find a lot of these shows on YouTube now. And I am happy to say that even today, Adult Swim is going strong. They switched a lot of their content to online platforms instead of cable. The whole cable dying thing. So it is what it is. And I'd love to hear anyone's experience with Adult Swim and how awesome it was. Or maybe if you didn't like it, which I don't know, what's wrong with you? That's all I have to say right now for this video. I hope you like it.